Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LifeSafe Holdings PLC investor presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time via the Q&A tab that's just situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Please just simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company will review all of the questions submitted today and publish responses where it is appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I would like to submit the following poll, and if you could give that your kind attention, I'm sure the company would be most grateful. And I'd now like to hand you over to Chairman Dominic Berger. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our trading update, our business update this evening. We're very grateful for you joining us on a dark, cold Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock. I'm sure you've all got wonderful places to be, but we're deeply grateful you've chosen to share some time with us. I'm Dominic Berger, the chairman, and I'm with my CEO, Neil Smith, to take us through the business. I thought, for those of you who might be new to LifeSafe and our story, I'll commence with the genesis of our business. And this business was formed in 2015, and it was formed on the back of a novel idea of creating a fluid that was completely different to all of the current fire extinguishing fluids on the market. So it's all about the fluid. It was a completely novel approach to putting out fires, and the intention of the founders was to create this fluid that could put out multiple fires, prevent reignition, be eco-friendly, so not damaging to the environment, be non-toxic, and to effectively change an industry or disrupt an industry that hasn't changed in 70 years. And it's this fluid that's the unique intellectual property that we have within the LifeSafe business. We're deeply conscious of protecting our intellectual property. Every step of the way, we work with our patent attorneys in protecting and filing our intellectual property in the appropriate fashion, both in the UK and globally. And I just want to dwell on that fact that this is a business that is all about changing an industry that hasn't changed in 50 to 70 years. It's about creating a very simple, easy to use fluid that puts out all kinds of fire. So that was the genesis of it. And, we've put out a couple of announcements of late that Neil's going to take us through in more detail. But, again, just the genesis being the fluid, changing an industry that hasn't moved in a very long time. And as a company, we decided when we looked at this enormous market in terms of fire extinguishers and fire fluid, be they cylinders in the workplace, be they sprinklers in the ceilings, be they any type of fire extinguishing medium, we decided that the quickest and most effective route to market would be to direct to consumer. It was a market that was unfulfilled prior to our engagement, a market that was confused, and actually consumers just didn't know which fire extinguisher to go for. Would it be the carbon dioxide one, the powder one? What would it be? And so our approach to developing and launching this business was to create a very user-friendly aerosol universal fire extinguisher that obviously environmentally friendly, non-toxic, the kids can swallow it, but can put out lots of types of fires in a very quick and efficient way. And I probably skipped over an important point, that traditional fire extinguishing media is all about removing the oxygen from a fire. I think that's called a surfactant. I might be wrong there, but it's about removing the oxygen from the fire. Whereas our approach to this market was to create a supercoolant fluid that immediately puts the fire out but prevents reignition, and reignition is a problem with existing media. But this was our approach to market. It was direct to consumer. It's a market that in itself is enormous. Every home in the world, we believe, should have a LifeSafe 5-in-1, a Stay Safe 5-in-1 fire extinguisher. And this has been incredibly successful for us and exceeded our expectations and the market expectations. We launched in the US this year, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was April in the North American market, Neil?
End of February.
End of February, sorry, thank you. And last year in the United Kingdom, and our sales, particularly in the last quarter, have been phenomenal and exceeded our expectations. And Neil will take us through a bit more in terms of the announcement. So our direct-to-consumer channel has been very, very successful. The North American market being, bounding ahead of all others. The EU obviously is there as well for us, but being incredibly effective marketing. Our advertising strategy there has really bitten hard, and we're saying enormous amounts of sales of this fantastic product. But it's still only just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, when you're looking at the addressable market, I think to date the millions and millions of homes that this could go into across the world, the UK and North America, we're only a very small percentage at this moment, so lots to come. And what's been really pleasing to see in this macroeconomic environment that we face, that the cost of living crisis and inflation pressures, is that this business has continued to grow its sales week on week, and it has continued to attract consumers as a must-have, a need-to-have product. Thankfully, we haven't been impacted by inflationary pressures in our supply chain. We've been very robust in those areas and have maintained our margins throughout. So again, very pleasing set of results that we've just put out there, that the year will end somewhere between 3.5 and 3.8, but we will update the market later on in January of next year. Our wholesale channels have also chimed this year, live in Screwfix nationwide across their stores, not just with this product, but with our other complementary products, the smoke and heat and carbon monoxide detectors. So very pleased about our nationwide move in wholesale. And we're starting to obviously bring on more wholesale partners as the business develops. We are an exciting inflection point. The sales of our consumer products are incredibly successful. We continue to address a huge and growing market. And at the same time, we're now launching new fluids and new fluid derivatives. At the end of the day, we are a technology company. We're producing innovative fire extinguishing fluids. And I'm very pleased that we also announced very recently the launch of our lithium ion fluid derivative, which is incredibly effective at addressing the growing and issue of fire generated from lithium ion batteries. So I'm going to now just play a video just to remind people a bit about our product, and then I'm going to hand over to Neil. So if we could put the video up, that'd be much appreciated.
Ever seen a fire? A real fire. One that engulfs a room, hits 1500 degrees, kicks out thick black smoke. Ever lost a pet? Ever lost a loved one?
I just literally just sprayed it because I had faith in it, and I thought, well, it's going to work, and sprayed it straight on, and it extinguished the fire straight away.
If there is a method of early intervention that is going to save your life, who in their right mind isn't going to want that?
Perfect, thank you. So Neil, look, I'll hand over to you to talk about the actual releases themselves.
That's great. Thanks, Dom. And good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for your time today. We've had a very, very busy year. I'm delighted to share with you the two announcements that went out last week. The first announcement, which went out on Tuesday, was the trading update. So we're delighted, as Dom says, to share the performance of the business this year, with revenue expected to be significantly higher than the £3 million we expected. And as Dom says, we have the revenue somewhere between 3.5 and 3.8, although we are still going through a very busy Christmas trading period. And when we start to think about the size of the market, and as Dom says, we've really just scratched the surface. If we just look today at the UK, there are 26 million households in the UK, but only 17% of homes have a fire extinguisher. So this is a huge market, over 22 million homes unprotected just in the UK. And so what we've been able to do is create a very simple, very easy to use product. And we've used our digital marketing expertise to really raise the awareness. That's really helped drive these sales. But it's not just in the UK, it's also US. So as Dom says, we launched earlier this year, both in terms of the Amazon platform, but also the LIFESAFE.com platform as well. And as you saw there, an example of our social media content, we're constantly changing the content. So the product is always relevant to customers, whether that's Easter, going on holidays, summer holidays, bonfire night in the UK, Thanksgiving in the US. There's always a reason why every home, motorhome, caravan, car, boat should have a Stay Safe 5-in-1. So as I said, we're still going through a very, very busy trading period at Christmas. So as we go through Christmas towards the end of January, we will update further in terms of our full year trading once we've gone through the busy Christmas period and the impact of trading of that is known. So that was our first RNS. The second RNS very much makes the point, as Dom has said, that our business, we're a technology business. Our knowledge and our expertise of fire extinguishing fluids is absolutely at the heart, the DNA of our business. And we've spent a lot of time developing, testing, and having independently verified and approved a new fluid. It's our lithium thermal runaway fluid, which addresses the real and growing challenge surrounding the issues of lithium ion powered devices catching fire through the battery, and then the consequences of that fire and how difficult it is to put that fire out and keep that fire out. This very much takes us into a new and incremental revenue stream in terms of the opportunities surrounding particularly industrial in the supply, the bulk supply of our fluid. And in acknowledgement of this very different customer from our typical consumer customer buying the 5-in-1, we've created a new website, so lifesafeindustrial.com, that is very much targeted towards that industrial customer with very clear content around how our product performs and what makes our product different. And very importantly, we always diligently protect our IP. The issues surrounding lithium-ion batteries, the challenges surrounding lithium-ion battery fires is a global issue. So our patent applications, both in terms of the UK and also international. So in terms of thermal runaway, what is thermal runaway? What is it that creates that real unique challenge surrounding lithium-ion batteries? So thermal runaway occurs if the battery is overcharged, if it's overheated, there's a short circuit, or if it's damaged or punctured. So a lithium-ion battery in an electric vehicle, for example, if that's in a collision, it's punctured, there's real energy then that's actually has to escape. And that energy gets released within the cell. The cell catches fire because actually within a lithium-ion battery cell, the electrolyte is flammable. So as the cell starts to catch fire, you have toxic gases that are released, and then eventually an explosion. And some of these explosions are pretty significant. So what we've created is a development of our fluid, which has been proven to be incredibly effective at not just putting out the fire, but crucially and very, very importantly, it deals with this phenomenon of thermal runaway. And that's because within our fluid, it's a supercoolant. So it cools the battery very, very quickly indeed. And by cooling it, it ensures with some of the components within our fluid as well, it means that it does not reignite. So that's a really, really important development and milestone for our business as we move into this enormous market. Just by, at the moment, there are 1 billion lithium-ion rechargeable batteries manufactured every year within the consumer market. And we all know the growing demand for electric vehicles, but by 2030, there will be 350 million electric cars worldwide. So this really is a massively exciting development for us, and we're really proud to be launching this product over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Neil. So to summarize before we open up to questions, we're very pleased that we listed on the market in July during difficult times. I think we were conscious of that. We've now let the market know that we've exceeded significantly our expectations, the market expectations. So we have over-delivered, and a revised guidance between 3.5 and 3.8. We anticipate next year's guidance to come out from our broker in the course of January, towards the end of January, for next year and beyond. What's really also important to say is our industrial strategy is entirely incremental to our market numbers. So baked into our market numbers is the sale of our consumer products, the StaySafe 5-in-1. So this industrial play and the lithium play is completely incremental and very, very exciting. And please go and have a look at the website. And this is all about the bulk supply of our fluid to channel partners, to the industry. So that is the place. So we're beginning to inch into, if you like, and I think it's maybe more than an inch, but we're beginning to attack that industrial, that business to business sector of fire extinguishing fluids. So please do go and take a look. We don't sit back. We're not sat back on our laurels. We continue to push innovation and push innovation hard. And we will be announcing those innovative and new products as and when our intellectual property is sorry, the dogs are going now, as the products are protected from an intellectual property perspective. So we're very diligent in that respect, and so when we do bring an announcement to market, it is very much already packaged and tested, certainly verified, and all of those very, very good things, because at the end of the day we are in the business of saving lives, and therefore we have to be more diligent than others, I suspect, in terms of making sure that our products do what they say they will do. So look, it's been a fantastic start to our journey on the public markets, and I'm very grateful for your time today. So perhaps we can move on to some questions. And then, Neil, did you want to add anything to my summary? Did I miss anything there?
Nope. Okay.
So taking it from the front here, Sam, good evening to you. The addressable market for your lithium product is massive. Have you considered approaching car manufacturers like Tesla, as I'm sure this would be a very useful addition to the emergency kit that every car has? Neil.
Yeah, hi, Sam. It's you're absolutely right. This is a huge addressable market, and it's a market that's growing. And car manufacturers are just one example of the opportunities and potential for this product. So marine as well is another big opportunity, and we're very much using the launch last week and the website to reach out and to build a pipeline.
And I think all those sort of comments, those manufacturers are all on the list, but they're also the lithium-ion battery producers themselves, other equipment manufacturers, etc. So big opportunity. And in terms of scalability, absolutely, the supply chain is robust, and the production lines are very scalable. We third party outsource our production. We're working with companies that supply the likes of Unilever, GSK, Cussons. These are massive businesses that can scale with us. So we're very, very strong on our supply chain. So thank you, Sam, for your questions. Glenn is about, will the small bottle lose weight of fluid quickly and need replacing, or is it not used? So it's a 3-year shelf life, Glenn, and they have to be replaced. That is a standard that is set to us by the British Standards Institute and is more about the aerosol. Correct, Neil?
Correct. Absolutely.
Sometimes I just need to double check these things. The fluid itself, we've tested, I think, 5 years out, and it's still efficacious. It still works.
Oh, it does. Yeah, absolutely. I've tested bottles with fluid that are over 5 years of age. There's no loss of pressure. The fluid performs absolutely perfectly. The only reason for the 3 years is because, as Dom says, for BS 5597, which is the aerosol directive. But of course, as we look forward, and given the volumes that we're selling this year, of course, the opportunity for us is to reach out to those customers when the product is due for replacement in 3 years to make sure they're continuing to protect their home, their family, and their property. So we have that opportunity for recurring revenue.
Thank you. And Steve, great progress. Thank you, Steve. How confident are you in your outlook for next year, and what do the pipeline of new products look like? I'll go first and then hand over to Neil. Next year, again, we're super confident. Trading has been consistent. This has been our first full year, or technically nearly full year of trading. So we've learned a great deal, but all the indicators are very strong for next year. So that looks fine. And in terms of new products, we're working hard to bring new products, and just keep tuned in, Steve, and you'll learn about them all as we are able to announce them. Anything to add, Neil?
No, I think absolutely right. As we said, we continue to innovate and develop products. We've got clear line of sight for next year, so we're very confident and excited about the opportunities for 2023. And now we've not just got a consumer aspect to the business. What's really exciting is now this industrial and wholesale opportunities as well.
Thanks. David's talking about, what about the competitive landscape? David, look, we can never discount competition. It's always there. It's healthy. What we try and do is do things better. And our fluids are, very competitive in the existing marketplace, in the sense that they're eco-friendly, which is very rare, environmentally friendly. They are new. They are novel. They address things that others don't. So we're never what's the word I'm looking for? We're never complacent about competition, because it is there, and I'm sure it will continue to be there. But we like to try and do things better, more diligently, and more effective in this environment. Anything to add on that one, Neil?
No, I agree.
Okay. Glenn, are you going to need a lot more investment to scale up with the new products to satisfy larger commercial users? Neil?
It's a great question. As Dom says, we work with world-class manufacturers who have huge customers. We've taken a very clear strategy that we work with best-in-class third-party manufacturers. So whilst we own the specifications of the products, we don't own any of the equipment. So the great thing from our perspective and from our shareholders' perspective is that we can scale the business very, very quickly, as we have done, without any hugely significant investment, particularly so within manufacturing. the investment that we make is very much in driving our marketing, which is we're seeing a very, very strong return on our marketing. So scaling up the new products, as we have done within the consumer space, we know the levers to pull to get the best possible response and return on that investment. So it's a very, very scalable business with minimum levels of capital investment.
Yeah, so we don't anticipate needing to come back to the market for any further investment, Glenn, at this stage, save for any extraordinary event that might be an opportunistic scenario for us. So no expectations at the moment, Glenn. And then Ray is asking about the cost of the new product. Well, the new product, Ray, is very bespoke, so it is on a case by case basis, and it's on the bulk supply of the fluid. So I don't think we can really go into more detail about the cost, can we? There, Neil? I don't think so.
Not at this stage.
Not at this stage. But the pipeline is building and is incredibly exciting. So that's the end of the questions. But so just to sum up, I think we're exceeding expectations, which is great news. We see that moving into 2023 with our core consumer channels, and we're really excited about the incremental play that this industrial channel is going to give us. And as ever, we will continue to say every home should have one, and we're very happy that we're able to save lives with our products, and hopefully you like the business and what we're trying to achieve, and it's a British company with a very global outlook, and the opportunity globally is enormous, and we intend to get after it. I don't think there's any other. Neil, did you want to say anything else?
No, just to echo, thank you for your time this evening. Please do have a look at our websites to gain more insight to what we're doing. And we're very much looking forward to 2023 and continuing to share good news with you next year.
Dominic, Neil, if I may just jump back in there, and thank you very much indeed for your presentation and for addressing all of those questions that came in from investors this afternoon. And of course, if there are any further questions that do come through, we'll make these available to you immediately after the presentation has ended for you to review, to then add any additional responses, of course, where it's appropriate to do so. Dominic, I was just going to ask you for a few closing comments to wrap up with, but I think you well delivered those, sir. So if it's okay with you, what I would do is I'll redirect those on the call for their feedback, which I know is particularly important to yourself and the company. So could I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected for the opportunity to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of LifeSafe Holdings PLC, we would like to thank you for attending today's presentation. That now concludes today's session, so good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon, everybody.